Good morning, boys. So on our first day back, I'd like us to start with a bit of poetry. Please remember that in in term three, we are actually covering poetry for matric. So this is matric poetry. This work is going to be very important next year. I'm not going to teach you this poem again, so I need you to pay very, very close attention, and I need you to take notes as we're going through this poem. So for today, by the end of this lesson, you should know the meanings of some of the words um, from the poem that you may not understand. So if you check on Google Classroom, you'll see that I have put up a PDF of the poem itself, and I will also put up um, a video of the reading of the poem, so you can actually listen and read with your own poem. And then this video is just intended to just do a little bit of the background and some of the words that you may not know the meanings of. Okay. All right, so just a little bit about the poem. At first, I actually thought that Ulysses was an actual person, but in fact, Ulysses was actually the first sort of hero that was ever written about, or one of the first heroes that was ever written about. We'll talk a little bit when we do film studies, we'll talk about the hero's journey and the process that a hero goes through before he actually saves the day. And it's actually the structure that's used for most films. They use the hero's journey, and so Ulysses is like the image or the face of the first hero that was ever written about. There is a novel called Odyssey or Ulysses, because that's like a Greek version of his name. Um, and so we're just dealing with the poem, which was written by Alfred Lord Tennyson. There are some important things to know here. You do need to know that the poem is written in the form of a dramatic monologue. So Ulysses is talking to himself. It's actually a monologue of him talking. Okay. Just some other places that the Ulysses shows up in. He appears in Homer's Greek epic, the Odyssey, and Dante's Italian epic, which is Inferno. So Ulysses and Odyssey, as you can see there, it's the Latinized, sorry, not the Greek one. Okay. So in this particular poem, we are dealing with now. Normally, when we watch films about the hero, we see what he has to go through in order to save the day, his internal process. And Ulysses, this is important to note, looks at Ulysses after the day has been saved. In fact, he is old at this point and he's looking at his life at from this point, like after the day was saved. What happens after? What is going through a hero's mind? What else do they have to look forward to? And you can imagine that it must be quite a depressing time because you don't have a new adventure, you don't have a new damsel in distress to save, because he's kind of reached the end of his life and he's accomplished all the things. He's got the wife, he's got the kingdom, he's the king of this one place. So this poem takes it from there, from that point, after the day is saved, and there are no more new adventures, and there is no new person to save or people to save. There is no new kingdom to conquer. This is this poem looks at it from that point, and that's important to write down. I'm repeating myself here with this slide, but this poem really got me thinking about what happens after you are the hero, after everyone puts you on their shoulders and they cheer for you. What kind of life do you live then? And it really just looks at it from sort of an adrenaline junkie's point of view, because adrenaline junkies are always looking for a new adventure, a new goal to set, a new something new to conquer. And so this really explores that, what may be going through the mind of someone else. Okay, so here are some words that you may not understand from the poem. I've put up the reading, so I'm expecting you to have listened to the reading, and you've also gotten your hands onto the poetry. I'm going to go straight into analyzing some of the poem when I see you um, on Thursday. So this is for you to write down. So if you don't know what any of these words mean, then this is for you to pause the video and write down what these different words mean. Um, so you're allowed to pause the video so you'll be able to see this and take down notes. I can go as fast as I want. Yeah, so in class we're going to do a little bit of pre-reading before we actually unpack the poem. I'm going to be working on another video where I unpack the poem in detail, what's important, what it means line for line, and so on. But this video is really just to focus on words that we may not know the meanings of, a little bit of the background of the poem, just so you know what we're dealing with and what to expect. It's also very important to read a poem more than once. So you need to read a poem more than once in order to understand what it entails, what sort of imagery that we find, what is it that he is actually talking about, and before we continue. Okay, so I hope that this video was a little bit helpful, and I'll see you guys in class.